Hello, my name is Aaron Bailey, and I'm the Voiceware Product Manager here at Phone Suite. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the SIP phone auto configuration feature and how it works. So let's go ahead and dive in. So let's start with what auto configuration is. Auto configuration allows you to plug in the phone and have it boot up and configure itself, all without needing to go into the phone's GUI. This requires a router capable of option 66. Not all routers are capable of this option, and you'll need to make sure that the routers you choose to use are capable of passing DHCP option 66. So let's take a look at how this actually plays out. So we have our phone there and a router in the middle. And when you plug in the phone, just like when you plug in any network device, it's going to go on the network and say basically, hi, I'm new here, can I have an IP? Your router is going to say, yes, you can. That's one of the things your router does via its DHCP options or your DHCP server, is it will hand out IPs to devices new on the network. And because you've set it up this way, the router will also pass option 66 to any device that asks for an IP. So you see here, the IP address is given to the phone, so it knows what IP address to use on the network. It's also given DHCP option 66, which in this case is formatted the HTTP and then the IP address /p. The phone then takes this information and says, aha, I need that. Let me go ahead and reach out to this server, the server at 192.168.1.222. The phone then reaches out to Voiceware and says, hey, do you have a config file for me? The config file is usually a MAC address.config, but can vary depending on manufacturer. It can include a model number or some other details. Voiceware, having that file, will then say, sure, here's your file, and that file contains all of the information the phone needs to config. For example, the username, the password, etc. Here is a breakdown of the different options that you'll need for the varying devices that you might use. So you'll see you have VTech, Yealink, Citus, Grandstream gateways. They all use option 66. Polycom is a little bit different. It decided to use option 160, but in all other regards, it is identical to option 66. The only difference is when you're setting up your router, you put option 160 and not 66. I'm not sure why Polycom did this, but they did. Note also the values that are included. Usually is HTTP and then the IP address /p, as we saw in the last screen. Sometimes, though, you'll need additional information. Like with the VTech SNOM phones, you'll need to add that additional information where it says VTech_Mac.xml. That's the text that you'll need to include. Note also with the Grandstream gateways, they require the HTTP to be all caps. Again, reasons unknown, but there you go. This information and a lot of additional information is included in the SIP phone auto configuration manual. It's available on our website, and I highly recommend that you take and read that manual. It's going to include a lot of information like the stuff you see here, but also a lot of additional things, and we'll cover some of the additional things here in just a moment, but it is highly recommended reading. So what's in the config? Well, each configuration file has information on what server to register to along with the username and password, but it can also include other information like the voicemail extension, speed dial information, new GUI password, and that's for the phone's GUI, the time zone, etc. One of the things the auto configuration manual has is a matrix showing you all the pieces of information that Voiceware can successfully pass the phone. At minimum, it's going to be the username, password, and server to register to. But sometimes there are features like turning off or on the additional Ethernet jack on the back of the phone. For some security reasons, you may want to disable that port so that a user can't plug in a laptop to the phone. Well, Some phones are configurable with that information, meaning we can pass that info to some phones and turn that port off, but not all. So you'll want to look at that manual to see what information you can pass to the phone and what you can't. Things that you can't pass to the phone from Voiceware need to be configured from the phone itself in most cases. Voiceware supports a lot of different phones, and you're going to need one of those supported phones. And we have a long list of supported phones. You can look at the current list of supported phones by just looking at any Voiceware system. If you go into the endpoints page and add an endpoint, there is a drop down showing you all the devices that we currently support. And that list is growing and changing all the time. So I would recommend you get a live list. You can also, as needed, call support, and we will be able to give you a list of what we support, or more specifically, you could probably ask, do you support phone XYZ? And we can look at our list and tell you. So you'll need a phone that we support first off. And then secondly, you need to have a router capable of passing the option 66 or 160. As I mentioned before, not all routers are, so you need to get a router capable of doing that. You'll need also the MAC address of the phone, and you'll need to create an endpoint entry for each phone. This is how we generate the autoconfig files, is through an endpoint entry. So some additional information for you. Each supported phone has a template that can be edited. So you can download the template out of the system, edit it, and then upload it, usually with a different version name, so you can keep things straight. This allows you to change config options for the phone that aren't supported through the GUI. As I just mentioned, editing the template can be useful to add custom configurations that are either not available through the GUI or something you just want to add as a default for all the phones on your system that's just needed for every single phone. And then again, information on this and a lot more can be found in the auto configuration manual. So it's basically required reading if you want to use this feature. That way you'll know what your option 66 needs to look like, which option to use, whether it's 166 or 160, and in addition, all of the features and capabilities that are available on that phone. And that concludes our overlook of the Voiceware configuration, auto configuration feature. So we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, of course, please reach out to us at support, and we'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.